Okay, we're going to continue with the I AM Discourses from where we left off. Okay, I kind of got cut off because the video ran short. I didn't realise I'd reached the 15-minute mark, so I'm going to just rewind a bit. Now, as a preparatory activity for the day, I would suggest that the students, with great joy and firmness, after having refreshed themselves in the morning, would silently declare, knowing that the power of the declaration is self-sustained, I am the governing love, wisdom and power, with its attendant intelligent activity, which is acting today in every single thing that I think or do. I command this infinite activity to take place every moment and be the sustaining guard about me, that I move, speak, and act only in divine order. Then, during the day, whenever you think of it, take the firmness and the firm consciousness, I am the commanding, governing presence moving everywhere before me during the day, commanding perfect peace and harmony in all activity. In this manner, you will lock the door open for the continuous outpouring of this inner intelligent presence, which will transform your world and keep you from contacting in harmony of any kind, enabling you to have that steady flow of inner peace and harmony in all outer contacts. It matters not what the manifestation may be within the body or without. The student must take his or her firm stand that his or her body is the temple of the Most High, living God. This is an unquestionable truth, and this attitude, consciously maintained, will more rapidly bring the body into the perfect activity which was intended from the beginning. I say to the students in all sincerity, there is no possible way of attaining a quality or a desired attribute without claiming it. The outer has drifted into a limited consciousness of declaring it did not have the desired quality, and of course it could not manifest it under those conditions. The thought of the student is this: well, I have been holding this idea for a long time, but it doesn't manifest, it doesn't work. See, this is the law of resistance that we're talking about. This is resisting the attraction. What you're attracting it just doesn't work, So, okay, let's continue. This is positive proof that somewhere in the consciousness there was lurking a doubt, possibly unknown to the individual. I'm glad that Saint Germain has made this point, because as my channeling has indicated, many of these resistances are unconscious or subconscious. So we have to really begin to read and know our minds inside and out, unconscious and conscious, subconsciously and consciously. How do we do that? In meditation. If you go into meditation and you meditate on what you tried to attract, I guarantee you, if you stay quiet, that your higher self will guide you to where you made a mistake, and it may be an unconscious thought, and then you'll be guided as to how to rectify this unconscious thought. Okay, to continue, this is positive proof that somewhere in the consciousness there was lurking a doubt, possibly unknown to the individual. I tell you that no matter what appears on the surface, if you will continually, with firm determination, claim the quality, condition, or things you desire, and go right on claiming them with that firm determination, they will find expression in your use, just as certain as you do this. But I cannot urge you too strongly always to keep on guard in this matter, for the outer, when you have tried a thing for a few hours, days, or months, and it seems not to have appeared, immediately begins to say, it's no use. If it were going to have acted, it would have by this time. Such a thing as failure is absolutely impossible when you have set the power of the I am God in you in action to accomplish a given purpose, if you hold unwaveringly to it with determination. Many times I've seen students nearing wonderful achievements, wonderful victory and freedom, and this outer attitude of not yet being accomplished would rush in, get their attention to such an extent that it would either retard greatly their progress or shut the door indefinitely. The student should compel himself or herself to hold before the mind this truth that when the I am power and presence is set into motion, it can no more fail in its accomplishment than the universe stop its activity. For this mighty I am presence to fail in its accomplishment would mean that the universe would instantly be thrown into chaos. Such is the certainty and power of the I am accomplishment. It simply cannot fail unless the outer obstructs the way. So this is your lower mind, your human mind, or your ego mind, which programs your subconscious thoughts. To continue, every student should guard with great watchfulness that he or she does not use the I am in negative expression. For when you say, I am sick, I have failed, I am not accomplishing this thing as I should, you are throwing this mighty energy into action to destroy the thing you wish to accomplish. This always happens whenever you use the word I, for that is the release of the universal power. Don't forget, the I is your I of the great I am. Knowing that the I am is you, then when you say, my head aches, my stomach is out of order, my intestinal tract is disturbed, you are throwing the energy into those parts to act accordingly to the thing you have decreed. For when you say my, it is the same energy acting, because there is only one person who can say I or my, and that is you decreeing for your world. Any expression which can only be used for yourself is including the energy and activity of the I am presence. The correct attitude to take if some organ seems to be rebellious is to instantly declare and hold fast to it, I am the only and perfect energy acting there. Therefore, every appearance of disturbance is instantly corrected. This is the important point to keep before the student. If through habit you have, through that certain remedial agency, given assistance, then use this sparingly until you gain sufficient mastery to govern entirely by your I am presence. I assure you that even though you think that this remedial agent has given you relief, it is still the same I am presence that has given the remedial agency the power to give you relief. For instance, I have watched the medical world for many centuries, and when one individual of so-called authority says that a certain remedy is no longer of use, it is but a short time until it disappears entirely. The question within the mind of all thinking individuals is that certain herbs or remedial agencies have a certain natural chemical action corresponding to the element within the body. I say to you, what gives or makes the chemical affinity? The power of your I am, which enables you to think. Thus, when you come to go round the circle of activity, you will find that there is only one intelligence and presence acting, and that is the I am God in you. Now, why not look this truth square in the face? Take your stand unwaveringly with the I am presence, God in action in you, and know that it is the only life in you, and all things are remedies to which you alone give power. I'm being shown now to indicate to you that how homeopathy works. Homeopathy, I don't know if you know what it is, but they just give you a tiny micro dose, which is completely ineffective to treat anything. But that tiny micro dose gives you the belief or the trigger or the signal to allow or to go on the path of least resistance, to use the law of receiving to receive your healing. It's not actually the homeopathy agent or powder or chemical, whatever that may be, which gives you the healing. It's the belief that you are healed by it. Okay, so that's very interesting. This just come through. Okay, to continue. It is not much better to go directly to this great I am presence and receive its all natural, limitless assistance which cannot fail, than to give power to something that leads you around Robin Hood's barn to get assistance from something in the outer to which you have given the power. I know it is not easy for students to turn away from old habits of dependence upon certain remedial agencies, but a little thought and meditation upon this fact will simply compel the outer reason and dependence upon these outer things to give way completely before the great I Am presence. There is no way of convincing the student upon this most vital of questions, except he or she apply the wisdom and knowledge with unwavering determination until he or she proves for himself, herself, the activity truth of these simple things. There is no one who can tell to what degree the student can apply this, for only he alone by trying may know. Many times the inner accumulated energy is such that the student is amazed with the results when he begins to apply this. The Oriental phase for I am is Om. That means the same thing that I am is beginning to mean to the Western world. For myself, I like the very much use of the word I am because its very expression includes God in action in the individual. Om, as understood by the Oriental, is a universal presence and not nearly so apt to give you, the student, the consciousness of the I am presence acting in the individual as the use of the I am. This largely explains the reason for the condition in India today. Hundreds of thousands in India, through the confusion of many castes, have fallen into the error that the intonation of Om was all that was required in their lives. While this brings a certain activity in hundreds of thousands of cases, it does not bring the energy of the activity into the individual's action, and so it is of little benefit. This method of ascended masters throughout the ages from time immemorial has been the conscious use of the I Am presence, the recognition and full acceptance of God in action in the individual, which more and more brings into the individual the full intelligent activity of the God presence, the Godhead. Those Orientals who have reached great attainment, which many of them have become aware of this true activity through their sincere meditation. Perhaps the simplest, most powerful single thing that the individual can keep himself or herself reminded of is that when he or she says I am, he or she is unknowingly or knowingly setting into action within himself or herself the full unadulterated energy of God. Energy becomes power through conscious use. The fact that individuals are in human embodiment is the command to raise the world of the individual into perfect activity. When the consciousness of the individual is raised, everything in the world of that individual is raised into the inner activity. O Mani Padme Hum really means God in action in the individual. Use the I am instead of Om at all times, because many of you have been embodied in Indian embodiments. At one time you knew that use, and to prevent it calling forth a lesser use, use the I am now to take you to the full height. Yeah, so I'm being shown now that, wow, that many of us, including me, I was in India in my last incarnation. Many of us have had previous incarnations in India, and then we've come to the West. We've learned everything that there was to learn in India, and then we've come to the West, because the Western front, the West of the world, is the new spiritual enlightenment hub of the world, from what I've been shown. It's all happening now in the West. So where everything was in the East, although there's great spirituality still in the East, the great spiritual hub is now swung more towards the West. Okay, whenever you say I am, you are setting the pure energy of God into motion, uncoloured by human concepts. This is the only way of keeping the pure energy of God uncontaminated by human qualification. Enormous results can be had in a short time by the determined use of the affirmations I am this pure inspiration. Whew. Yeah, so many of us who have been in India are now incarnating in the West, and many of us who are in the West are now in India. having embodiments? Is this how divine harmony and balance is produced? Okay, namaste. I'll see you in the next reading.